What is up, everybody? Welcome back to my channel. And it's been a while. After coming back to the Arcane Odyssey community after a long hiatus, I've gotta say, playing the game now is absolutely atrocious. I didn't play or interact with the Arcane Odyssey community for maybe 3 or 4 months, and if anything, I'd hop on every now and then to claim islands, or to fish, or to build, but every time I'd log on, there's always a looming presence of pure dread, and that's because of one side of the community that unfortunately, over time, has become the most prominent. And that, of course, is the fucking PvPers. I absolutely fucking hate PvPers. I think casual PvP is cool, and there is some level-headed players out there that genuinely think PvP is fun, as I used to, but you literally cannot go into a single server without getting jumped, ganked, insulted, and pitiful attempts at rage bait. This extends over to the YouTube community as well. I had to go out and say the Arcane Odyssey community has always had a PvP-centered YouTube space, but aside from Trello slot videos, PvP content is the only content you're gonna get because every other YouTuber that had unique ideas has dropped out. And you can attribute all of these problems I have just listed with one issue, a seemingly avoidable issue in my opinion that has plagued the game since its release back in 2023. And that, of course, is the fucking update schedule. The terrible update schedule, by which I mean there is no update schedule, has created a cesspit of mongrels that thrive off of petty interactions and killing at a pure spite and vindictiveness. I genuinely think if the full release, which has been getting worked on by an entire team for maybe a year now, would just split it up into 2 parts, the horrible community that exists now would be saturated by little PvE legends that used to play the game. It's genuinely frustrating going into a server, trying to perform some menial task or find some enjoyment out of a game with little to no content after the story, just get fucking jumped by some 14-year-old who's entering their first year of high school and decides to spend their summer ganking kids on Arcane Odyssey. This cycle of content drought makes these little chuds so bored their only source of satisfaction can be found jumping or cheesily beating somebody in PvP. I wouldn't be bitching and moaning so much if the PvP actually involved the slightest fucking modicum of skill, but the state of balance is so absolutely abhorrent and horrendous that you cannot go into a single server of PvP chuds not running a size build. Long gone is the era of 300 attack speed conjurers and mages. It is now the 200 attack size tank build meta. You have to travel several continents over on the map to not get hit by these bullshit cheese builds. This goddamn loop of VTechs and tech and every other community manager not interacting with their baby community leads to a vicious cycle of bored players creating a toxic atmosphere in the game, which I'd say I otherwise enjoy. And this segues and leads me into the game balance, which I've got to say is probably the worst it's ever been in the entire history of the game, in as long as I've been playing it. Now, I'm not sure if VTechs or any of the other developers that, handle appointing supervisor and monitorial positions, but whoever goes to the middle school and appoints the balancers needs to be investigated, because some of the balancing decisions could only be made by the biggest fucking idiot on earth. I genuinely used to have fun PvPing and used to be pretty good, but the pure fatigue of cheese this year has pushed me away and makes me temporarily want to quit. Alright, let me just get this out of the way. I've outlined a couple issues I have with the meta right now. Regeneration, damage over time, potions, attack size, and agility, the complete removal of agility, which I honestly would say was not that much of a problem whatsoever. These were some of the worst gameplay you've ever experienced. I am so sick of looking for a fun fight and fighting against another Earth Paladin, or Earth Mage, or Magma Mage, or Metal Mage, or any goddamn variation of an AoE build. It has made me sour to the core. The update that's been hyped up for maybe 8 months now could just get a release date. Perhaps the Arcane Odyssey community would return back to its normal state and not be so toxic. I will acknowledge that the Arcane Odyssey PvP community and the community at large has always been toxic, a little toxic, but never in my time of playing the game or just being in any community has it been so prominent in every single space and crevice. Alright, well, that's all I've got to say. I may return to make more videos, but for now, this is all I've got. A rant about how much I hate the Arcane Odyssey community right now. And just how downright dreadful it's become. So the ungrateful and shitty toxic player base it seems to naturally default to during content drought. Good riddance.